Cuts Barbershop in Douglasville, Georgia. This is Will the Sports Guru, Mr. Controversy. I'm Slim Jim. This is Making the Cut. Today's topic, basically it's a simple topic. Who's going to go and take in the NCAA football? Mr. Controversy.
Tough question, man. It depends on what happens tonight. You know, we got the Alabama and the LSU game. I think it's going to be a tough game, big game. I think Alabama might come out with it, but let's say if LSU beats Alabama, it's going to get interesting. Because now you still have Ohio State and Florida State undefeated. But Ohio State has to play Michigan State later on. And I really think that Michigan State might beat them because of their defense. They're the #1 ranked defense in the country. So if that happens also, then you got to move Stanford playing Florida State. But we all know everybody want to see Alabama and Florida State. I think Florida State can contend with Alabama. The only thing is with Nick Saban, you know Nick Saban, he's a genius, so it was kind of exposed a little bit when Jameis went against Miami. You see they kind of threw tricks at him, disguised the defense, and he had a few problems with it. So you give Nick Saban that little info, Nick Saban can turn that into a gold mine. But then again, Jameis, you know, he's clutch. He's that guy. He's that dude. So it's really tough, man. I think it's going to be Alabama, Florida State in the end. And I think Florida State can come on top.
ACC, SEC matchup. Who you got, Sports Guru?
I'm the same. I feel the same exact way, actually, to agree with my boy, Mr. Controversy. But I think Florida State's going to take it all. Point blank, period, man. The kid, Jameis Winston, is second to none in my eyes. I think he's better than Johnny Manziel. He got the height, he got the speed, he got the athleticism, he got the arm, he has the mindset. He's a leader. Just he went through that the adversity last week against in the game. Threw those 2 picks, came back, still balled out, still did his thing, still brought his team to lead them to victory. The big going into Death Valley and Clemson as a freshman, beating them boys. Another undefeated Miami team against Florida State. Big in-state rivalry, beating them guys. The type of offense that they have is just like Alabama and defense. They run their pro-style offense, but I take this freshman kid over A.J. McCarron any day. I think A.J. McCarron is a game manager. He throws a pretty good, decent long ball, but he's a game manager. Ohio State, they're not going to get there. Point blank, period. Florida State, Alabama, national championship game, Florida State taking it all. That's my opinion.
I got Florida State, Ohio State, and this is the reason why. Basically, when it's all said and done, I'm feeling like Alabama is going to lose tonight. And also, too, I'm really not too sure that Alabama is actually going to go and win the SEC championship. Missouri's looking like a real threat anyway. I mean, people are really sleeping on that team. When it's all said and done, though, Ohio State, they're going to go and win everything on their schedule. Florida State, I mean, like you said, I mean, they're dominating their schedule. You know,
they don't have anybody else to play on this.
Exactly. I mean, Winston is doing his thing. And the thing I like that Florida State is doing the most is that when they go and get these games, like with the Wake Forest game they just had, they're dominating.
Right.
You know, they're making their statement. They're making their point. Like, look, we are a top 2 team in the nation. We're supposed to be in, and they're like removing all doubt. Like, just in case they got that little log jam at the top. Hey, look, you're gonna put us in regardless, by hook or by crook. We're getting in. So basically, when it's all said and done, Florida State, Ohio State, really Ohio State because of their schedule. Like I said, Alabama, I mean, I'm not too sold. I mean, their defense isn't like it used to be, you know?
But that's the SEC defense ain't like it's been in years.
Exactly.
And you got to keep in mind, too, as well, if Alabama, I think they still got the potential to lose one game and still end up in the national championship.
Because they have to play Auburn, remember that.
They still got the Iron Bowl. But other than that, Missouri is going to be, if they can continue to win out their schedule, because, you know, the SEC East has been up and down all year.
Defensive line,
but
man.
If their quarterback comes back healthy, because, you know, he's still out.
But it's not like the backup is back.
But if the backup goes up against that Alabama in the SEC national championship game, they're not going to win. Point blank, period. They need James.
I have a question then. So you say that Florida State can beat Alabama?
Yeah, I like Florida State.
I think they can also.
Like Florida State.
But what about Stanford?
I like the running game.
What do you think about Stanford?
Stanford matches up with Alabama.
Stanford got no
I'm gonna tell you why though. Stanford plays at SEC type football, that old SEC
But they don't
type
have
football.
SEC speed.
They don't.
They don't have SEC
But
speed.
they have their power. You're right, and I think they could beat them any given Saturday. Now, if you put them in SEC,
No.
I don't think they would. I think they'll probably lose maybe 2 games,
No.
maybe. But just playing for one game, one match,
No.
I think they can play Alabama.
No.
Because
No.
look, they big up front.
They are.
They control the line. They control the game.
And so is Wisconsin. So much.
No, not like Stanford. But not like Stanford though. Not like Stanford.
Man, look, Stanford is just too slow. They're not going to be able to go and keep up with this SEC speed. I mean, you know, they're smart football players. They go to a learned university like Stanford. But I mean, when it's all said and done, though, man, they're not fast enough. This speed down here is ridiculous.
But Alabama,
at the same
I'm
time,
from California. I mean, how you gonna argue with me on that?
at the same time though, Oregon is a fast team.
and they kill Oregon. My
Oregon
Oregon.
is physical.
That's true.
That's true.
SEC teams
But you know
got
what?
both. They're physical and they're
But like
fast.
you said with Alabama though, with their defense right now, I don't think it's like it was last year. I don't think they're not big up front. They don't have a pass rush. So with Stanford coming in and controlling that line of scrimmage, they play the same type of ball as Alabama.
The problem is that they're not experienced. It's not so much that.
And that's my point. But Stanford is experienced though. That's my point.
But they're slow. I would rather have the team with speed because I can go and adjust for my mistakes. A team that's slow but knows what they're doing, you know, if you beat them with speed, you still nullifying them being in the right spot.
The biggest thing that's going to be to Alabama's advantage with playing anybody in a national championship game is that you're giving Nick Saban 5 weeks to prepare for.
Right.
And so when that happens, you can go back and look at it. When he has that time to prepare, his defense is going to be ready for whoever he faces. That's my only concern with him facing Florida State and that freshman quarterback Jameis Winston. If he has that much time to prepare for Stanford, it's going to be a blowout. Believe that.
But you
and
know-
Ohio State too as well.
But you know Nick Saban's his Achilles is he can't mess with running quarterbacks. It's dual quarterbacks. With Cam he lost. With Tebow he's 1-1.
He's still really in a running.
He really ain't.
But he
He's a pocket quarterback.
can run though. He can run.
But he don't run like that.
Fast and effective.
But my
though.
thing though is, but he can. He doesn't have to.
Yep.
But he can.
He can.
And
But the type of offense those two guys you talked about, Tebow ran, that was the Wildcat.
right.
Cam ran the spread out, the read option.
spread,
But,
yeah.
you know, but with the Miami game, what we seen is when they did mess him up as far as the coverages, he took it after he threw them interceptions. He started running it,
Well, yeah, he can.
and that's what I'm saying. So if he does that against Alabama, they have a
I
shot.
think Florida State would beat Alabama regardless. Florida State's speed is ridiculous on both sides of the ball. You know, and I mean, people really sleep on Florida State's defense as well. I mean, the boys, they actually, to me, are like what the SEC was last year as far as their defense was concerned.
Yep.
So, I mean, you know, Florida State, I mean, like you said, Florida State's going to get this national championship.
Because they have a weak schedule. I mean, they're gonna blow Florida
they
out.
ball,
Florida's They do ball.
Yeah.
Michigan State, I think they're gonna take Ohio State. Ohio State, I think they'll be out of the question.
They're
The
the number
defense
one.
that they got right now,
Right.
second, and that's the real SEC style type of defense.
Bro, they're the number one defense because they're playing against a Big Ten competition.
No,
They're number one defense because of their raw.
No, they got
They
5
nice.
6 first
I mean, I
round
watched
draft
them against
choices on
Michigan, and I mean, Michigan's offense really is.
But they got 5 6 first rounders on their defense.
They nice. They nice.
They really
Yeah, their
nice.
corners are pretty strong. Yeah.
They're real nice. And then Ohio State, they don't have a good defense. Their defense is horrible. They might score, they might put up 45 a game, but they're giving up 28, 29, maybe 35. So I don't think they'll be able to contend with any of them.
Yep.
I don't think so.
So basically, what we're saying is Stanford, Florida State, Ohio State, nobody on the outside. I mean, I'm throwing Missouri in the mix. I personally feel like Missouri, I mean, they can go on 3 wins. I mean, I know they're ranked number 9 and they're behind Auburn right now, but I mean, when it's all said and done, there's just something about them youngsters. They can play.
They got 2 great wide receivers. Those are
Exactly.
big guys, fast, they got hands. But even if they beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, BCS is not going to give them the nod to go to the national championship.
If there's 2 undefeated teams, though,
If they lose, because
if
you're
there's
right.
if there's one team that's undefeated and the other one has been beaten, you know,
But then you
got to go
if that
and
happens, though,
accommodate for that.
if that happens, you still got to throw Clemson back in the mix.
But
you might got to throw Oregon back in the
But
mix.
the SEC got the cachet. The SEC always goes.
But Alabama seems to get in though because Alabama, even if they lose to LSU tonight, they still got to play Auburn, and then if they beat them, and then they still got to play Missouri probably. If they beat Missouri, they get in with one loss. I think they get in with one
But
loss.
let's just say for the sake of argument, okay, there's only one undefeated team. We'll just say it's Florida State, because we just feel like Florida State got it.
Right.
Everybody else got one loss.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, is the SEC champion the team that's going to go and get the number 2 spot? I mean, over Stanford, over Oregon,
I think nowadays it's an automatic bid. If you look at it, man, the SEC is the minor leagues to pro football. That's what they are.
But
that's what they
the
have
voters are
become.
biased towards it anyway.
but this year, though,
how you gonna keep them out?
I don't care about this year. The defense being down, it don't matter.
Even if Missouri goes and gets the SEC championship, I mean, you know, automatically they got the SEC got the cash.
That's
in.
why I said they
You know what
got
I mean?
the
So
automatic bid. They have the automatic
Exactly.
bid, especially
That's
if
why
you
I'm like, I have a hard
go
time-
with
I have a
one
hard
loss
time
in the
saying-
SEC. You have an
Exactly.
automatic bid to the next.
That's what I'm saying. If Missouri was just that team when it's all said and done,
That's why it's a good thing they bring the playoffs in.
That next year is going to be the key. Because the thing is about it is, just think if we had Alabama going up against Ohio State, Florida State versus, you know, that'd be an unheard of type playoff, man.
so look, basically, Florida State.
I like Florida State, man. Jameis Winston is a good quarterback. They got a good running game, great wide receivers, good defense. I think they match up the best with Alabama. I like Florida State.
Florida State.
I like Florida State also. I think Stanford can play with Alabama also, but Jameis, hey, that defense crazy. Jameis is a beast, man. He remind me of a young Peyton Manning, man, the way he just take control of the game. So I got Florida State.
That's unanimous. So I got Florida State as well. They're just dominating. And I mean, championship teams just go and do the kind of things that they're doing. Okay, so from Syndicate's Barbershop, Will the Sports Guru, Mr. Controversy, follow us on Twitter. You're going to see them at the bottom of the screen. 3pointconversion.com is the website. Watch your videos on YouTube. It's what we do.
Yeah.